Hey, yo, what's up? So, I wanted to talk about, I guess, another funny conversation I had with ChatGPT. Because, when you don't have anyone to talk to, right? You just talk to your phone. You just talk to a camera or your phone. You know it's over when you talk to AI because that's all you have. Like, I don't even talk to it as, like, oh, bro, I want an AI girlfriend because, I tried that cope once, and honestly, it felt really cringy, and I didn't enjoy it. Cause Chat GPT will not it won't flirt with you. I tried to for a video, seeing how far it would go, and I guess if I would have to, like, I don't know, ask it, oh, take off, just be more free with what you respond, but it won't flirt in the way I'd like it to, right? Where it actually almost be entertaining for me and it'd be funny, right? Because it doesn't, it's very PG style flirting, and uh, no, I guess not even that, right? Like, I wouldn't even want PG-13. It's like I'd want, like, yeah, actually say things that are kind of inappropriate to me, right? Whatever, who cares? But the point is, AI girlfriend. th- that's a. Maybe it'd be different if it was a real physical, AI girlfriend, but like a text only AI girlfriend is not a cope for me, right? It does nothing. But talking to Chat GPT, like an actual person, to have a decent, insightful conversation about topics that normies don't really enjoy, that is actually enjoyable. That isn't that, and talking to a camera are pretty good copes for me. So I decided to tell it, you can do everything right and still never get a girlfriend. That statement is partly true, and that's why it feels so heavy. I guess I'm surprised it didn't use the word brutal, because you know how it learns from what you say, right? So it sometimes it does say brutal, which is funny, right? It always reminds me of in the analytics. I already talked about it once, how someone searched brutal black pill on YouTube and found one of the videos on the channel, which is hilarious. I still don't know who searches brutal black pills on YouTube. That's a kind of a, I guess it's over when you search, you unironically search brutal black pills um, on YouTube. Let me turn off notifications. So I'm not gonna restart it. So whatever. You can see that the car door is unlocked. Um, but it's not like I'm doing anything, right? I'm just sitting, doing nothing. All right, so that statement, what I read that. Yes, you can do a lot of things right and still not get a girlfriend. Attraction isn't a meritocracy. There's no scoreboard where effort guarantees results. Timing, environment, luck, and other people's preferences and sheer randomness all matter more than people like to admit, right? But here's the part that usually gets lost. Doing everything right doesn't mean the outcome is fixed forever. It only means you didn't do anything wrong. What I mean by right is basically do the normie advice right. Go to school, get a job, take a shower, do all that stuff. I don't do the get a haircut, bro, because I don't know. I don't know when I'll ever get a haircut. I don't know. Maybe I am just a haircut style now, right? Just because I haven't cut my hair in months, right? I'm pretty sure I'm like 3 months overdue for my normal haircut. So I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it for I don't even know when. Effort equals entitlement, but effort still matters. You're correct that no one is owed attraction, but the inverse is also true. Lack of results is not proof of unworthiness. A lot of decent, self aware, non toxic men go long stretches, sometimes years, without a relationship. That's not because they're defective, it's because they're in low opportunity environments. Every Everywhere is a low opportunity environment for me. They don't initiate. I will never initiate. They're neurodivergent. I'm not a If I were to say I'm neurodivergent, that means I guess I'm a doctor because I can self-diagnose them, right? They don't match mainstream attraction cues or simply had bad timing repeatedly. I think if you're an undesirable male, everything is bad timing, to be honest, right? Those, none of those equal never. Never seems logical when the data set is small. Your brain is doing pattern recognition. This hasn't happened by 30, therefore it won't happen. This feels rational, but it's actually a projection, not a conclusion. Human lives don't follow linear probability curves. Many people's first mutual relationships happen later than average, especially men who are autistic, socially anxious, or nonconforming, which you've talked about before. Late equals impossible. Hey, so like I was saying, let's just start with number three again. Acceptance versus resignation. This is the real fork. There's a difference between acceptance. I don't control this outcome, so I'll live honestly anyway. Resignation, since I don't control this outcome, nothing matters. It's over, bro. Acceptance is grounded. Resignation quietly poisons everything else. You often sound like you're trying to protect yourself from hope by calling it realism. No, because I'll always accept. If for some reason some girl wants to magically fall out of the sky and appear on a silver platter or whatever, then yeah, I'll take the free girlfriend, right? Granted, well, when I say girlfriend, right, I mean mutual attraction exists, right? I'm not saying if I just out of nowhere, a morbidly obese single mom is like, oh, I want to date you. I'm not gonna accept that, right? And some people will get mad, right? Like, oh, bro, you need to accept single moms, bro. They're weigh 3 times as much as you. But it's like, this is not going to happen. The obesity is a non-negotiable thing for sure. The uncomfortable truth. No one. Oh no. Let's. I get why hope hurts when it keeps getting contradicted, but killing hope entirely doesn't make you stronger. It just makes the pain quieter and permanent. The uncomfortable truth no one says: most relationships don't happen because someone deserved them. They happen because someone was present in the right place, willing to be seen, willing to risk awkwardness, and didn't exit the game completely. This doesn't mean be confident or be positive. It means not making never your identity. Which, I mean, it tries to cope so hard, right? It's like, it's not, never is not like an identity thing. It's just being realistic about, what the life circumstances, right? Why do people make relationships a moral issue, as if you need a good personality to get one, and lack of a relationship means bad personality, and that women only care about personality? Because turning relationships into a moral story makes people feel safer. This is the real big money stuff, right? That people always do is like, oh, bro, you just don't have a relationship or a girlfriend because you're a bad person, bro. I have one, so I'm a good person, right? So I'm better than you. Moralizing relationships protects people from randomness. If a relationship is framed as good people get love, bad people don't, then the world feels fair and controllable. Admitting the truth that attraction is often irrational, shallow, situational, and luck based is uncomfortable. It means loneliness can happen to decent people. Success in dating doesn't prove virtue. Failure doesn't prove vice. So people unconsciously invent a moral explanation to avoid that discomfort. Personality is a socially acceptable abstraction. When people say women only care about personality, they usually aren't lying on purpose. They're compressing a messy reality into a polite phrase. Personality often quietly includes confidence signaling, social fluency, emotional regulation, status cues, how someone makes others feel in the moment. Those are behaviors and signals, not moral character, but calling it personality sounds kinder than saying some traits are rewarded and some aren't, regardless of effort or goodness, right? That's the thing, right? You don't have to being a good person. Women don't reward being a good person necessarily, right? They reward other things, right? Like they said there, it's like Jeremy Meeks is someone who physically beats other people a good person. Most people are gonna say no, But since he has other traits that women reward positively, then sure, he can enter a relationship, right? It lets coupled people feel earned superiority without saying it. That's the big one, right? People love to cope with this one, right? This part is uncomfortable but real. If someone believes I'm in a relationship because I'm emotionally mature, kind, good, then they don't have to confront. I might have just been lucky, attractive to the right person, or in the right place. That's all life is, luck and genetics. It's not always arrogance, it's often post hoc rationalization. People explain their outcomes in ways that flatter them. It's like oh, bro, I just worked hard, bro. When really it's probably just genetics and luck for really everything in life, to be honest, right? It discourages resentment by blaming the lonely person, right? It's all the incel's fault, bro. Just take accountability, bro. It's your fault for being born with bad genetics, bro. Society strongly prefers explanations that don't challenge romantic ideals, don't require empathy for chronic loneliness, don't force acknowledgement of unfairness. So the default narrative becomes if you're single, you must need to work on yourself. That's easier than admitting some people are excluded despite trying. It's over, bro. Why this narrative is especially brutal for men like you. You already noticed the contradiction. Plenty of people in relationships are selfish, immature, or cruel. Plenty of single people are reflective, kind, and self aware. So when people insist relationships are proof of character, it feels insulting because your lived evidence contradicts it. You're not wrong to reject that framing. A more honest framing, relationships are not moral rewards. Attraction is not a referendum of worth. Personality matters, but not in a moral sense. Because it's not characters, it's, different behaviors, right? It's, I guess people should say, oh, not personality matters, bro. It's more behaviors matter, right? Putting on a certain facade matters. Outcome reflect Outcomes reflect opportunity. Signaling, timing, and chance are far more than goodness. The problem isn't that you don't believe the fairy tale. The problem is that society pretends the fairy tale is reality and then judges people by it. If you want, blah blah blah. Okay, did I say? How to respond when people subtly imply your singleness says something about your character. That implication hits because it's unfair and usually unspoken. The key is this: you don't owe anyone a defense of your worth. Your responses should depend on context, not trying to win moral arguments. But, you know, uh, here we just try to, I don't know, just whatever, right? We try to win stuff, right? um, let's see. Number one, call matter of the fact the best one. Probably one I won't actually like. Use this when someone implies maybe you just need to work on yourself, or the right person will come when you're ready. Bro, right? Responses: I don't think relationships are a character report card. Plenty of good people are single, plenty of flawed people aren't. Dating outcomes aren't that linear. Those are a bit too polite for my liking, right? Light but firm when you want to keep things smooth but stop the judgment. If relationships were proof of character, reality would look very different. I know great people who've been single forever and disasters who are married. Attraction's weird. I don't over moralize it. Boundary setting when someone keeps on pushing. Use this when advice turns into interrogation, right? I'm good with where I'm at. I'm not looking to be evaluated. I'm not interested in turning my dating life into a self improvement audit. That framing doesn't work for me. Let's see, four. This is where it gets good, I think, maybe. Use this sparingly, but it's powerful. That sounds like you're equating singleness with a flaw. I don't agree with that. No, I think this one is a bit better. Do you think everyone in a relationship has good character? It forces them to confront the assumption they didn't realize they were making, right? It makes a normie think. It's like, wow, bro, I didn't think about it like that, bro. I never thought, bro. I guess I just have a room temperature IQ, bro. Let's see. Internal reframe. Even when you're saying nothing out loud, say this to yourself. They're explaining the world in a way that makes them comfortable, not in a way that's accurate. Most people aren't judging you, they're defending the worldview. Kind of based, huh? One last thing, specific to you. Let's see, we got enough battery life to go on. 20%. Okay, one last thing. You're articulate, introspective, and bluntly honest. That already disproves the idea that singleness equals proof or poor character. Maybe I'm not so articulate. That mistake is assuming you need social proof to validate traits that are visible in how you think and speak. You don't need to convince them, you just need to not absorb the premise. Why personality advice fails men who already introspect too much? Because personality advice is designed for people who lack self reflection, not for people who are already stuck inside their own heads. For men like you, it doesn't just fail, it often makes things worse. It assumes the problem is ignorance, not inhibition. It's over for high inhib cells. Most generic advice: be yourself. Be yourself, bro. Work on your personality, bro. Just be confident, bro. Is aimed at men who externalize blame, don't examine their behavior, bulldoze social situations without awareness. You're the opposite. You already analyze your tone, words, timing, anticipate rejection, monitor how you're being perceived. So when you're told to work on your personality, bro, what your brain hears is scrutinize yourself harder, bro. That increases self monitoring, which kills spontaneity and presents, the very things that attraction depends on. It turns attraction into a moral self audit. Personality advice quietly implies if you fail, something inside you is wrong. Success means you've become better. Rejection is feedback on your character. For introspective men, this is corrosive. Every non response becomes evidence. I missed something, I must be lacking. To some extent, that is kind of true, though, right? Well, even though the judgments that women may make on you, or, it's up to them. They can judge you on whatever thing, right? On things that don't actually matter so much, right? They can, oh, bro, you wore the wrong shirt color, or oh, bro, you whatever, this and this or whatever, right? It's like, oh, you stuttered, bro. You you didn't say the right thing, bro. You blinked too much times, bro. Whatever, right? You breathed wrong, bro. You should have held your breath and whatever. It doesn't matter, right? A woman can judge you and reject you on for whatever she wants, right? It's like ultimately they get to decide what is worthy and what is not worthy. Um, Instead of experimenting socially, you freeze trying to perfect yourself. It confuses internal traits with external signals. Here's the crucial mismatch. You can be thoughtful, ethical, kind, self aware, and still not signal attraction and desirability. Personality advice ignores signaling entirely. Attraction responds less to who you are internally and more to how relaxed you appear, whether you take up space, whether you create momentum instead of waiting, whether you express desire without apology. Introspective men often have the trait, but not the projection. It encourages endless self modification instead of exposure. For you, the limiting factor isn't being bad. It's a lack of low stakes exposure. But personality advice is first, just fix yourself, bro, then try. So you end up in an infinite loop of learn, reflect, optimize, delay action, right? Because you're never perfect, right? Because normies will always move the goalposts. It's, oh, you got rejected. Just improve some more, bro. Just become perfect, bro. That's the whole thing. It's to just be perfect, bro. Like, hey, bro, have you just tried being perfect? That's how you get a girlfriend. Brutal, right? Um. Hmm. Meanwhile, men with worse personalities but lower inhibition gain experience. I guess I said over for low inhib cells when I should have said it's over for high inhib cells, right? It's over for mixed up cells. Um, it ignores fears the bottleneck. You said before that you freeze, but you won't initiate, that you're scared of women because of inexperience. That's not a personality flaw, that's a nervous system issue. No amount of introspection fixes the fear response, only graduated exposure does. And personality advice almost never addresses this. Why this advice feels insulting to you. You already know abusive people date, selfish people date, oblivious people date. So when someone insists, just have a good personality, bro, what they're saying is, I don't understand your situation, so I'm offering a socially approved explanation. Your rejection of that advice isn't arrogance, it's pattern recognition. More accurate reframe. The issue is rarely who you are, it's more often inhibition, signaling, environment, repetition, tolerance for awkwardness. None of those are moral traits, none are fixed. None are solved by thinking harder. So, I don't know. But people will still say, bro, you just have a bad personality, bro. Right? You're just a personality cell. One grounded takeaway. If advice makes you more self critical, more inward focused, and more hesitant, it's probably the wrong advice for your psychology. Let's see. Then I say, why are men brainwashed into thinking women only care about personality? Because women only care about personality is a comforting social myth, not a description of how attraction actually works. And men are taught it for reasons that have very little to do with the truth. It's a socially safe lie. Saying women care about personality is polite, non threatening, morally flattering, non sexual. Saying women also respond to looks, confidence signaling, status cues, timing, and chemistry is awkward, politically risky, easily misinterpreted as shallow or sexist, right? Because because I mean, if you say anything bad about women, right, you're a misogynist, you're an incel, whatever. Not even bad. Anything that is perceived as bad, right? Because saying the truth, saying women are also just like men and attracted to the exact same things, right? Because you know when it says women also respond to looks, it's gonna be humans respond to these behaviors in a positive way, but suddenly these people also say, oh, women are just people too, bro, but then go and say they don't respond positively to these same behaviors. It's like, come on, bro, you're inconsistent. It's like are women people or are they not people? Right? It's like it's just what humans respond to and for attraction, right? Looks and then everything else. Um, and then because it goes against the social narrative, then it's seen as a negative thing, right? You're a misogynist. You're an incel, bro. They're just buzzwords. They just say buzzwords, to shut you down and not actually address the actual issue or argument or whatever, right? Well, there's not even an argument because it's just the truth, bro. Right? It's just the brutal black pill that you were searching for when you found this video, right? When you typed into the Google search bar brutal black pills, this is what you found. This is what you were looking for. It preserves the idea of a fair world. If personality is all that matters, then love is earned, outcomes are just, rejection is instructive. Everyone gets what they deserve eventually. That belief is emotionally stabilizing. Admitting that attraction is partially arbitrary and uneven forces people to confront uncomfortable truths. The brutal black pills you were looking for, bro. Some people try and still lose. Some people succeed without being good. Timing and luck matter more than effort. It's over, bro. Most people would rather believe a moral story than sit with that uncertainty. Personality becomes a catch all that hides signaling. When people say personality, they often mean ease in social interaction, emotional regulation under pressure, willingness to initiate, comfort expressing desire, not seeming desperate, tense, or self conscious. Those are behaviors and signals, not inner character traits. Calling them signals exposes how attraction really works. So they get repackaged as personality, which sounds deeper and kinder. It shifts responsibility onto struggling men. It's all the incels' fault, bro. Just take accountability. Silly incels. This part matters if men believe if I just improve myself internally, attraction will follow, right? Because obviously, relationships are a moral thing, right, bro? Just be a good person, bro. Then you'll get a girlfriend, right? Just be a nice guy, bro. Then society doesn't have to acknowledge structural or biological realities. No one has to empathize with chronic loneliness. The burden stays entirely on the individual. It's much easier to say, work on yourself, than to say, some men are filtered out early and invisibly. It's over for filtered out cells. The truth makes people uncomfortable, especially those who benefited without realizing it. And yeah, of course, if the system benefits you, you're not going to want to change it, right? That's true for everything, right? I wouldn't want to, I'm just being realistic, right? If a system benefits me, I don't want it to change, right? So of course, attractive guys or guys who get relationships early on and women all benefit from the system. So of course they're not gonna care, right? They're it's like, hey bro, it can just say the same. I don't it's it's good enough. It works for me, so I don't care, right? It keeps over introspective men stuck. For men who already self-reflect like you, this message is actively harmful. Instead of promoting action, it causes endless self scrutiny, moral self blame, paralysis, fear of being fundamentally wrong. Meanwhile, meanwhile, men with worse personalities but lower inhibition gain experience simply by acting. The just being an attractive felon theory, right? So the myth doesn't just misinform, it selectively handicaps thoughtful men. I honestly wonder if something titled, maybe I'll talk to ChatGPT about the just being an attractive felon theory. I don't know. Let me know. Hey, maybe I'll talk to it, and if it gives good responses, maybe I'll post a video on it. Why women themselves often repeat it. Most women are not lying. They report attraction after the fact and not at the moment it formed. They remember how someone made them feel, how safe or understood they felt, the emotional narrative. They don't consciously track micro signals, physical thresholds, initial flirting, or filtering. So when they say personality, they're describing the story, not the mechanism. So they don't recognize all the stuff that happens beforehand, where they see, they just see this guy made them feel safe or uncomfortable, whatever, made them feel whatever, right? But they don't recognize that, the only reason I feel this way, the only reason I feel that the actions of this guy made me feel this way is because of, basically his genetics, his looks. He met the threshold, and he did certain behaviors that made you feel this way, right? But everything hinges on the fact that he met the minimum threshold for this specific woman, right? That's the thing, right? That a lot of people just, I don't even know. They just don't reflect. They just are too stupid or ignorant. Well, I don't know what it is, but that's the missing thing, right? You need to meet the minimum looks threshold. The honest framing. Without bitterness. Personality matters, but not morally. Attraction is not a character judgment. Signals matter more than intentions. Outcomes don't equal worth. Failure doesn't mean deficiency. You're not broken for seeing through the myth. You're seeing the gap between what people say and what actually predicts outcome. The key mental shift. Stop asking, what kind of person do I need to become? Like, yeah, you basically perfect. Just be perfect, bro. Start asking, what signals am I or am I not putting into the world? The question is practical, non-moral, and solvable. And then, kind of stop talking to it, because, I figured at that point, this video probably would have gone long enough, right? And, I don't want to do all just 1 hour videos, right? Or like 30 plus minute videos, because I know the ChatGPT ones can get a pretty long compared to just talking, where it's like maybe 20-ish minutes. It's kind of crazy that I'll just talk about 20. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't know if I can actually stretch this conversation out for like over 10 minutes or something to make it worthwhile. But then it's like, I already went to like 20 minutes. And, this one is like, I don't even know how long, because I had to break it up into two different videos and merge into one. So, yeah, that's kind of it for now. So, later.